Hey, welcome back to Bulldogs Live with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart. Glad to have you along tonight, and thanks to our friends from Coca-Cola for being here tonight as our guest audience. And you folks give yourselves a hand for being here so we can hear you on the other side of the radio. We know you're here. Thank you, folks, for being here. Tonight's show is presented by Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. And Coach is here, and another week of work almost in the barn. Is the hay in the barn, as you like to say, on a Thursday night?
No. When the hay is never in the barn until we kick that thing off. The way we do it around here, it's we grind until we're ready to go, and we're not ready to go yet.
Georgia and Ole Miss on Saturday afternoon. It's the official kick time is going to be 3:45, and our coverage starts at 11:30 Saturday morning here on the Bulldog Sports Network. So we've got a full day for you of Georgia football, and should be a lot of fun. And you asked Coach earlier this week for you need an impressive crowd in the stands on Saturday, and you were asking for that on Monday this week.
Yeah, I need and not only impressive. Impressive is full, so I feel like we're going to have that because of the matchup. I need loud. I need them loud all day. I need it to be hard to communicate. Their team is built around communication and these little cute things that Lane does. You know, he whistles and he gets the quarterback's attention, and they do a really good job of in-game, in-play communication, and we got to make that difficult. And you do that by making a lot of crowd noise and frustrating.
I know you don't like to make a lot of comparisons, but I'm going to ask you a comparison question anyway. How does preparing for these guys compare to other teams? As you said, he's got a lot of cute things that he uses to work with his team, but is it pretty much the same for you guys as far as how you get ready for your next opponent?
I mean, we prepare the same way for everybody, but everybody's the things we have to defend are different. You know, they have tempo. They can wear you down if they go really fast, and they just wear you down and exhaust you. I've seen teams not get lined up, and that's more to do with being in shape. So the first thing you got to do is get them to slow down, and the best way to slow them down is stop them. They do a tremendous job with tempo. They do a tremendous job with check with me's. They do a tremendous job getting their playmakers the ball in space. They have two very athletic quarterbacks. They throw RPOs, so they get a lot of free access throws. They take advantage of the game of football. They do a really good job.
Congratulations on the win at Auburn last week. What time did you guys get back in town?
Well, the team got back around I think 3:15, 3:30. We got some coaches back a little bit earlier because we knew we had this quick turnaround, so we were able to get some coaches out of there and get back a little sooner and get to prepare and get a better night's sleep.
And that's something. I mean, it's not something that's new. We've played night games on the road before, so you guys are, as you said, you prepared in advance for that to get other guys back a little bit sooner to get started on the next week's game plan a little bit sooner.
Yeah, it's the Central Time Zone and night game, losing the hour, coming back with a turnaround for this game that made it a little tougher.
Georgia and Ole Miss on Saturday again. 3:45 is the kickoff time, and we hope to see all you folks there that are listening, and then certainly our friends from Coca-Cola here. We know most of you folks will be there on Saturday, and we start at 11:30 for our broadcast coverage of the Georgia Bulldogs. We've got questions for Coach tonight. From our social platforms, hashtag AskCoachSmart, questions that you have sent in. We thank you for those. We'll get to some of those for Coach Kirby Smart tonight, and we'll take some questions from our audience as well. This is Bulldogs Live with Coach Kirby Smart. It's presented by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs, and we'll get to those questions right after this on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. Welcome back, Bulldogs Live with Coach Kirby Smart. And a reminder, if you're looking to elevate your game day experience, you can visit ugaexperiences.com and purchase experiences like being the tee retriever for a game or getting your photo taken with UGA on the field. There's lots more available as well. Experiences are available now for all the remaining home games. That's ugaexperiences.com. Our friends from Coca-Cola, our guest audience tonight. We're going to grab a question to get us started with a coach from Austin. Hi, Austin. Welcome to the show. Go ahead with your question.
Hey, Coach. So I was a student here in 21 and 22. Appreciate everything you've done for the university. My question is, in all the years that you've either been a head coach or a defensive coordinator, I know every week is challenging to prep for, but is there a specific team that you can remember being uniquely challenging, either because of the way they schemed up or a specific player?
Yeah, the hardest week we probably ever had was it was a combination of weeks. It was when I was at Alabama and we played Georgia Southern, and they ran the triple option flex bone, and it was absolutely the longest week of my life. And we didn't play real well. We beat them, but we barely beat them, and they had more yards against our team than anybody we played all year. And we won the national championship, and we had 6 or 7 first rounders, and they broke every record for rushing against us. And it was a great reminder of the neutralizer there is in football. No matter how good your players are, if there's a certain scheme that they don't want to play against or hard to play against, they struggle with. And then when I came here, it became Georgia Tech, which was a very similar offense for, I don't remember how many years it was, 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know how long it was that we had to play against it. But those were the hardest preps that I've ever had. Yep, thanks.
Austin, thanks for your question. Appreciate you being here tonight. What were some of the things that made that so difficult to prepare for?
It's just different, your kids don't play against it, so it's not, maybe football is just played differently. Kids don't play against it in high school. You have to change your entire defense to play against it. It's complicated.
The blocking schemes on the line are challenging, to say the least, I guess.
To say the least.
There's a lot of maybe sometimes some nasty stuff that goes on on that offensive line.
It's quick. It's quick hitting, and it's really physical.
Let's grab some questions from our social platforms. Hashtag AskCoachSmart is how you can get them to us at any time, and we can use them on the show. Joshua in Waynesboro, Georgia, wants to know, Kirby, how important is the home game atmosphere for recruiting?
It's huge for recruiting. I mean, that's what the kids are signing up for, right? You want to go where people support the players, people love the players, people create a great atmosphere. You don't want to go somewhere that the fans leave or don't come or come half the time or boo, or like they're looking. These families are on job interviews. They're saying, is this something that I want to be tied to? For my son's career? Is it something that we want to get married to? And that's important, that we create a really good atmosphere for recruiting.
Yeah, some people might think that, it's just the outcome of the game, it's wins and losses, but there's a lot more involved than that when a young man brings his family here, and hopefully he's going to be here a while if this is the place he selects. But there's a lot that goes into the whole atmosphere of making that decision.
Yeah, absolutely, it does, and it takes a joint effort.
Sam in Atlanta, does Zachariah Branch have a skill set that reminds you of any other players you have coached?
I don't know that I've coached many like him. I mean, the closest comparison for me would probably be the Isaiah McKenzie kid when I got here. He was electric. He was quick. Zach Branch has a little more bulk, has a little more thickness than Isaiah. Isaiah might have been a little better punt returner than him, but they were both very similar. Elite burst, quickness, change of direction.
What do you have, 9 catches last week against Auburn? I think he had a career high. Zachariah Branch, very important to the Georgia offense. And Sam, thanks for that question. Frank in Roswell, Georgia, what do you respect about the Ole Miss quarterback's game, Chambliss?
His ability to navigate a pocket. He makes elite zone throws, touch throws. I've seen 2 or 3 throws into windows that are, most quarterbacks don't like throwing into these small zone windows. He can see a zone, anticipate a throw. I think this guy's really special when it comes to anticipating throws. Some people have to see him open. He doesn't need to see him open. He needs to see him crossing a window, and he can hit that window. That's a trait it takes time to get that. You have to play in a lot of games and a lot of time to throw in those small windows, and he can do it.
You were complimentary on their ability to find this young man. He's a former Division II player at Ferris State in Michigan. They actually played Valdosta State in the championship last year of the Division II championship, and they won. So there was a little bit of exposure in the state of Georgia with that guy, but Ole Miss was able to get him after he went into the portal. And how common is it for Division II players to come into this league, especially the SEC, and have success?
I wouldn't say it's common, but it may become more common because there's lots of good football players out there. What makes him a good football player, though, is it's 50% ability, it's 50% experience. He's played an immense amount of football, and yeah, might have been a different level. Yeah, might have been, a little bit slower, but anticipation of throws is not speed. And he's got that. He's in a really good system for him. They're utilizing his skill set to run the ball. So all the stuff you saw last week with Jackson Arnold running the ball, they got all that. So it's really hard to stop, and it's frustrating because when a guy can beat you with his legs and his arm, it's hard. It's hard to stop him.
Georgia and Ole Miss Saturday afternoon in Athens. 3:45 is the official kick time, and we'll join you at 11:30 to begin our broadcast coverage of Georgia football. We hope you can join us and stay with us. We've got more questions for Coach Kirby Smart as we hit hashtag Ask Coach Smart on the social platforms a little bit more, and we'll grab some more questions from our audience. Our friends from Coca-Cola are here as our guest audience tonight. So thank you, folks, for listening. We'll come on back with Coach Kirby Smart right after this on the Bulldogs Sports Network. Coach Kirby Smart here on Bulldogs Live tonight, taking your questions. And don't forget, basketball season is fast approaching. Georgia won its opening exhibition game against Georgia State last night in Atlanta. The Bulldogs will play their second and final exhibition of the preseason on Sunday, October 26th, when they host Troy at 2 o'clock in Stegman Coliseum. The Dogs will tip off their regular season with their opener in Athens on Monday night, November 3rd. Georgia basketball tickets are available by calling the Bulldogs ticket office at 706-542-1231 or by going to georgiadogs.com for more information. Welcome back to the show with Coach Kirby Smart. This is Bulldogs Live, presented each week by Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's get back to some more questions for the coach. And from our audience, our friends from Coca-Cola are here tonight, and we thank them for being here. And this is Victor with a question for the coach. Hi, Victor.
Hello, Coach. Thanks for having us, for hosting us, and Coca-Cola, thanks for having us as well. Wish you and the team the best for the rest of the season. Question: which player has pleasantly surprised you in terms of his play, or maybe even his leadership?
Yeah, there's been a lot of really good surprises this year. I think the two freshman linemen have done a great job in terms of being thrust onto the scene and have to play. Juan and Donnie have grown up a lot. Ethan Barber was in that conversation before he got injured, and then Elias has stepped up and played a lot. So I've really been surprised by those true freshmen that are able to go out and contribute at a high level at an early age. I think it takes a lot of maturity to be able to do that. And then from a leadership standpoint, I don't know. There's been so many kids step up and take on a bigger role. I mean, C.J. Allen does it every week. Colby's kind of been the guy on offense that people follow and listen to, but really proud of all the leadership we get out of the guys.
Victor, thanks for your question. Thank you for being here tonight. Along the lines you just mentioned, C.J. Allen, our next question from John in Athens. He wants to know, in your opinion, how good is C.J. Allen?
He's really good. I mean, he is explosive, quick, practices hard, fast. I think he's come on in the last 2 to 3 weeks. He was dealing with a little bit of a hamstring around Tennessee, and he kept pushing through. He's so bad, doesn't want to let his teammates down. And I've never seen somebody that cared so much as he does. It really bothers him when he doesn't do well or he gets beat, and that doesn't happen often. I mean, he practices as hard as anybody I've seen. We have to keep him from practicing too much too hard, and I'm like, Schumann, get him out. He's not going to stop. He's going to go until he drops. We need him. We need to save him for the game.
He's kind of leading the charge for you, too, over the last couple of weeks as far as getting that ball out, punching that ball loose.
He's been great
from the opposition. He's had a couple of big plays in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he practices it. You do the things in practice, they carry over to the game, and he's done that.
Braxton in Birmingham, Alabama, wants to know if you are pleased with how Georgia is running the football right now.
I mean, different periods of the game, we've been more effective than others. I thought Auburn was a really tough day running it. We had some good looks, but it wasn't like the other games. We probably didn't run it as efficiently as we have. So we'll go back out and try to do it again this week and try to keep getting better at it, because that's what teams are going to do to us. They're going to find ways to stop the run.
Andy in Athens, Georgia. What did it feel like to get that victory in the outstanding Auburn atmosphere, as he calls it, last Saturday?
Well, it was great. The humility is a week away, and we are upon that time. So it's one of those things that at the time it was a great win, great come from behind win, and a great atmosphere to play in. But obviously, we're on to the next.
How long do you get to enjoy those things personally? Do you give yourself a amount of time, or as soon as the game's over and you're in the locker room and you get on the bus or the plane and go back home, you're on to the next one?
No, I mean it's pretty much the next morning when you get into work and you start on the next opponent.
Let's see. David in Valdosta, Georgia, has the next question. How much energy does ESPN College Game Day add to a typical Saturday in Athens?
I don't know. I think it's a great atmosphere. It's incredible for the city of Athens. It's great for the students, great for the fan base, and it's really good for the television. The publicity we get.
Right.
I think it's drawn a lot of kids over the last however many years we've had game day come. It gives us exposure. People want name recognition. People want to go to colleges they see on TV, and they get to enjoy those. So the enrollment's been great, and I think it's a great atmosphere. But if game day wasn't here, we'd still have an electric atmosphere.
Do you get a lot of personal response from kids based on that, based on being on television, based on being on game day like that? Do people mention that to you a lot when you're talking to them?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think that they watch our games. That's the thing. Regionally, we get a lot of people tuning in, whether we're on game day or not. I think the exposure's great, though.
Sophie in Athens, how tough is Gunner Stockton?
Well, I mean, I think of these bull riders. Like they get on the bull and they get thrown off, and he's got this body that's like a rubber band, and he just keeps coming back. I mean, he took some shots in that Auburn game, and I've talked to Mike about it several times. I'm just like, man, this kid can't keep doing this. And, not all of it is poor protection. Some of it is him scrambling, and he plays with reckless abandon. And he has no disregard for, like, taking the hits. Like, you can slide. You can throw it away a little earlier. But we'll see.
I think somebody asked him after last week's game about staying on the ground, and his response was, as long as he's played football, to him, it's not a good look to stay on the ground. That's why he bounces back up so quickly.
Yeah, he does.
He
he
doesn't
does.
like to stay down.
He does.
He doesn't like to get down either, right? He's always looking for that next yard. But Sophie, to answer your question, he's a very tough young man, Gunner Stockton, and Georgia's certainly glad to have him. This is Bulldogs Live with Coach Kirby Smart. We're taking your questions from social media, #AskCoachSmart. And we'll take some more from our guest audience. Our friends from Coca-Cola are here tonight. Right now, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back for more of the show. Bulldogs Live with Coach Kirby Smart in a moment on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. This is Bulldogs Live, presented by Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. Glad to have you along tonight. And we're taking some questions from social media, social platforms, and we're also taking some questions for Coach Kirby Smart from our audience. Our friends from Coca-Cola are here tonight, and this is Caleb with a question for the coach. Hi, Caleb.
Hey, Coach. I just was wondering, what is it like to be back at the University of Georgia? Obviously, been here for 10 years now, but your time, Florida State, Valdosta State, everywhere you went, what's it like to be back here at your alma mater with Coach Bobo, your quarterback, all these years later?
It's a blessing. You don't get many people that get to go back to their alma mater and coach. It's a great honor. I mean, it's even better that my wife went here and played. So we're home, and not everybody gets to. Everybody else just enjoy Athens. 7, 8 weekends a year. We get to enjoy it every weekend, and we get to live here and be part of the community, and giving back to this community that's meant so much to us is one of the things that I enjoy most, is seeing Terry College of Business, seeing the growth in the university, seeing the growth in the community, and really getting to see all the people come back here that are alumni, and I get to live here, so I'm blessed to do it, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
Caleb, thanks for your question. Thank you for being here tonight. Ken in Decatur has our next one. So we go to #AskCoachSmart. And Ken says, Coach, for those of us that aren't familiar with Ole Miss this year, what should we expect from their offense?
A little bit of everything. They do a really good job of mixing it up. They are one of the best teams in red area, third down, quarterback runs. They can go tempo on you, which means they just wear you down, and they go really fast, and they frustrate you. They look for certain looks, and they catch you in those looks, and they try to get in what they call premium plays for those looks. And that's, I mean, at the end of the day, every defense you play is supposed to be sound. So you have to do your job and out-execute a team that's really good.
Ken, thanks for that question. That's our look ahead, brought to you by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. The penalty for getting a DUI can cost up to $10,000, and that's why the Governor's Office of Highway Safety says drive sober so you won't get pulled over. Another question from hashtag AskCoachSmart. Let's see, Bennett in Athens wants to know if you can name some guys on the defense that's really improved week to week in your estimation.
Well, CJ would be one that's gotten better. You know, I think Ellis and DeMello continue to grow up and are playing better. Elo's had a couple good weeks back-to-back that we really need him to create some rush and create some advantages for us. I think EG's growing up and getting quicker and getting better. And we need all things functioning at a high level to be successful on defense. We don't have one dominant player. We don't have one dominant rusher. We have to do it by committee and by a group and everybody doing their job, not one guy trying to kind of step out of line.
Ron in Columbus, Georgia, has a weather question. What's it been like to practice in, as he says, ideal football weather this week? It hadn't been too hot, has it?
No, it hasn't been bad. I think Tuesday got into a little bit low 80s, but we've been in right around that 75 to 79 range, which is nice, and it makes it good to go outside. The guys have a little more juice, a little more pep in their step when they have that cool weather.
And we're here in the football complex doing the show as we do each week. And when are they going to start doing the other work to add the space where the track is? The track is moving out to another section of town, but do you know when that construction is supposed to be supposed to begin, and the
when
football expands a little bit more?
Yeah, I think when the track actually finishes out on the other side at Soccer Softball Complex, when they finish that, which is probably going to be December, January, we'll start to break ground and take over and do the work. But it's going to be a long, arduous process. It's not going to be a really quick fix.
Is there going to be, and I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot here, is that going to be buildings over there? Is that going to be all grass practice fields, or what's
we'll gain roughly 2 grass fields and partial turf field that will be used for kicking and apparatus, things we can't tear up the grass on because our grass gets worn down. So we'll gain 2 practice fields, we'll gain a little bit of turf field, and we'll gain some parking area where players and people that work in Butts-Mehre can park.
All right, very good. Let's see, Tracy in Atlanta. What does the resiliency shown in the second half of last week's game tell you about this football team?
Well, there's no quit in them, right? Like we pride ourselves on not looking at the scoreboard, and that's really hard for a fan to understand because that's all they do is what's the score, what's the gripe, what's the complaint, what's going on. Like for us, it's not about that. It's just about how can I make this person never want to play against me again. That doesn't change based on the score. So you don't play based on how things are going on the score. You play to try to play for perfection in effort and toughness. And we're in constant pursuit of being the tougher, more physical, dominant team. And then we'll check the scoreboard at the end and see where we're at.
Have you seen that in most of your games this year?
I mean, yeah, I've seen the kids play really hard, but, so does the other team. So there's no while we're playing harder than them, we say effort counts twice because I don't care what your ability is. If you outplay someone, out-hustle someone, you can beat them.
It's Georgia and Ole Miss coming up this weekend in Athens. It's a 3:45 official kickoff time at Sanford Stadium, and hoping for a big, loud, boisterous crowd on a Saturday afternoon in Athens. That's coming up in just a couple of days. And we'll come back for more questions with Coach Smart. We'll take some from social media, hashtag AskCoachSmart. You can send those in any time, and we'll grab a couple more from our audience. Our friends from Coca-Cola are here as our guest audience tonight. This is Bulldogs Live, and it's presented each week by Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. Back in a moment on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. Hey, welcome back, and a reminder for you that the reigning ACM Artist of the Decade, Jason Aldean, and 5-time Entertainer of the Year, Luke Bryan, are teaming up to play Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium on April 25th in 2026. For tickets, you can head on over to GeorgiaDogs.com. Live Between the Hedges concert series is presented by Pruitt Health, and we'll see you there. And we're going to see Scarlett right now. Scarlett with a question from our audience here for our friends from Coca-Cola. Hi, Scarlett. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here, and go ahead with your question.
Hi. What is your favorite music to listen to before a game to get pumped up?
Oh boy, I don't know. A little U2, a little Tupac. You know anything about those? I'm just kidding. I listen to all genres. I have like a little mixtape, and so it might have some things my daughter put on there, my wife put on there, like Taylor Swift, but that doesn't energize me. So I have to go to like Sunday, Bloody Sunday. I got to mix it up and keep throwing different stuff in there. But my kids get on my playlist and they throw stuff in there. So thanks for the question.
Scarlett, what do you like to listen to?
There we go.
Taylor Swift. All right.
There we go.
All right. Scarlett, thank you for being here. Thanks for your question. Tim from hashtag Ask Coach Smart in Alpharetta, Georgia, wants to know, Coach, if there's been any banter with Lane Kiffin on the infamous group chat this week.
No, it's been pretty silent. It's typical. Just nobody's really talking about anybody because there's guys that on there that play each other. It's more, what's going on maybe in the coaching world or what's going on in recruiting or some problem we share, but nothing mutually between us about the game, no.
Does that take place more with that group in the off season, or is it still fairly active during the course of the football season?
Yeah, it's pretty steady throughout the year. It doesn't ever really stop. It's kind of the same pace.
Cade in Bogart, Georgia, and you touched on this question a little bit earlier, but he wants to know if you could talk about how the defense has worked on forcing turnovers in practice and how it has impacted the games.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 turnovers we've gotten had huge impacts. Did we get them because we've been working on them? I don't know. Would we have gotten them anyway? Maybe. I don't know. CJ's against Kentucky was definitely a punch out. And then the one last week, if you go back and watch the play before the play, Raylan and CJ both have their fists balled up prior to the snap, and you can see them like loaded guns where they were ready to fire and take a shot at the ball. So, we've worked hard at it, but I don't know if that's a direct result of it. We've taken practice time, meeting time, and we've tried to really be intentional. I think it's one of those things, if you do it all the time, the players get a little bit bored and mundane with it, and so we're trying to mix up the drills we do to try to get more turnovers.
Well, you've talked many times about the importance of turnovers in a game and to the outcome and explosive plays, and are those the two biggest determining factors of the outcome?
They are. I mean, the charts say that winning the explosives, depending on how many you win it by, is a greater indicator of who wins games than just turnovers alone. So we do the stats every week on SEC games, and it continues to yield that result.
Last thing for you, and then we're going to cut you loose. And Georgia volleyball head coach Tom Black is here. They've got a big event coming up tomorrow, and we're going to talk to Tom here in our last segment. But just your expectations for this weekend and what you'd like to see.
I think the weather's going to be good. I hope the weather's going to be good. But regardless of the weather, we got to make a lot of noise. We got to make it really hard for them to play. And the game's going to have swings of momentum. We're not going to dominate the complete game. They're not going to dominate the complete game. What's going to matter is how we respond and how our fans respond and staying with us. We know that we've got a strong fourth quarter team because we're conditioned, we're physical. We need to play 4 quarters, but we need everybody to be an impact and crowd noise the entire game.
All right, there you go. You heard it from the coach, Kirby Smart.
And we all need everybody to come out and help Tom break this record he's got for volleyball tomorrow night. So I'm expecting to have an unbelievable crowd. Everybody coming into town for Ole Miss, you get to stop by Steg and see an incredible volleyball team. And really, it's a cool atmosphere. I went last year. They do a great job of entertainment, and it's great for family fun. But we want to break the record for attendance for that tomorrow night.
Yeah, and it's free too, right?
Yeah.
Can't beat
I'm telling you, it's awesome to watch the athleticism and watch these ladies play. It's incredible how fast and how hard they hit this ball.
We're going to talk to Tom about that very thing here coming up in the next segment. Coach, thanks for your time tonight. Good luck this weekend. We'll see you.
Thank you. Go Dogs.
All right.